Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. If you have questions, feel free to jump on the chat. Faith, just let me know if someone has any questions. And I'll stop what I'm saying. I definitely want this to be conversational as always. So if you have questions or anything to add, something you're doing, please add to the conversation. It only helps us all. And so definitely encourage that. So Q4 planning. I was actually just talking to Courtney sitting next to me before this. We're going to first start with who are you as a brand and who are your ideal clients? And in the past, I feel like when I've done planning for marketing or my business in general, I have kind of overlooked that. It just seemed kind of tedious to me. I know who I am. I know I just want to work with people in general. But the last few years, I've taken some time to really think through that. And just thinking through it without even making it a big deal, but just really like thinking through all of that has helped me be more intentional with what I'm putting out there and my message. And so I kind of want to talk about that first. So hang with me and then we'll talk about like actual ideas and mapping it out. Okay. All right, so the first one, what is marketing? And I'm sure all of you have your own view of what marketing is, but the master of marketing, Seth Godin, says, if you need to persuade someone to take action, you're doing marketing. Marketing is the story you tell, who you're telling it to, and why people are going to buy it. So it's almost synonymous with sales, I feel like. It just goes hand in hand, but we have to keep in mind that in all of our conversations, all of our posts, all of our emails that we send out, or the way that we handle a transaction becomes how we're marketing ourselves. It becomes our brand. The concept that I like to think about is service over selling when we're talking about brand. We're not always selling to someone, we're serving them. And if you have that frame of mind, it is so much easier to have conversations, whether you're calling an expired listing, a for sale by owner, if you're at an open house, how can you serve them? How can you help them? And that becomes, it takes that weight off of us trying to sell ourselves or sell the house. It is more about being there for them. And then that's going to reward us later as we get more referrals from them because we were actually listening and there for our clients. The last one, commenting over contenting. I actually just recently heard this from Chelsea Pite. Courtney's clapping. You know, obviously it is going to be a part of most of our business plans, our marketing plans, to post on social media and to make sure we have an appearance, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever your social media of choice is. But we focus so much on the post, we're not giving enough credit to how beneficial it is to actually spend some time every single day and go through and comment on 10 people's posts, 20 people's posts, have 2 conversations, whatever your goal is there. Make sure it's engagement. Make sure it's not just putting something up and hoping something comes through from that. Make sure it is actually having conversations with people, and whether that's you initiating it or people initiating it with you because of something you've done, make sure you're taking that time to go back and comment. Every single time I'm on social media, I scroll through, and it's not like a goal of mine, and I'm just talking about me. You can do it the way you like. But when I'm on there, and Courtney chime in too, it's not a goal of mine to comment on 10 people's posts necessarily, although it probably ends up being that way. But I'm finding things that I genuinely connect with. And that's what I comment on. And then I'm also sharing a lot of, like, if I see certain people's posts that remind me of someone else, I'm sharing that to someone that reminds me that maybe also would love that post. And so you're creating conversations that way. So I don't want, as we do our marketing plan for the end of the year, let's not forget that going in there and engaging with people who are already following us really matters. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, sorry, I'm gonna have to move my video around because it was taking up my screen. All right, here's the question I was talking about earlier, where it's easy to just jump over this and go right to, okay, here's what my day-to-day is gonna look like. But please take some time to think through this And this is going to help you determine what your message is going to be, who you're talking to. And in that way, you're going to find it to be more fruitful in doing all of these things, because you're going to attract people who appreciate you for who you are. And so think through, what is your brand? If I ask you right now, why should I use you over any other real estate agent? If you can't answer me quickly, that's something you really, really need to spend some time on, because that is what people are thinking. You know, there's 10,000 agents in Indianapolis alone, or in Indiana, 10,000. So we cannot be swimming in the sea of sameness. We have to stand out. What makes you unique? For me, it's my time in the industry. It's new home construction, knowing that like the back of my hand. And then the transaction, making sure that my clients are communicated with throughout the entire transaction, and they not only communicated with, but they feel important. And so that for me is really my unique stance on why me. So really spend some time, why you? And I would really encourage you, as I'm talking to a lot of agents here in the office, when I ask that question, the response typically is them discrediting themselves. It's typically, I love having Courtney here. She keeps just nodding her head and like encouraging me on. So, but it really, the first time I asked that, a lot of times agents are, well, I don't have a whole lot of experience, or I don't really know, I'm just learning, or I don't have a big sphere, I'm new to the area. Okay, but you do have a skill set that is very valuable for people. What is that? Why did you want to get into real estate? Why did you want to become a realtor? Think through those things, because it shouldn't be you discrediting yourself. That's going to come through to your clients. Know why you're important and know your value and what you're bringing to the table. When you know that, your confidence level in the way that you handle every part of the transaction and communication is very different. Who are your ideal clients? And this is a great question, I think, because a lot of times we think, oh, well, they're people, they're first-time home buyers, or they're empty nesters, or they're new construction. Those are good answers, but dig deeper. Are they educated? Are they people who trust you? Do your ideal clients have a good sense of humor, or do they typically take things more seriously? What does that avatar look like? Who is that person? And really, that should match up with who you like working with. So then when you are marketing and branding yourself, that comes naturally and it's easier. It takes a lot off your plate, actually, because you kind of just feel the natural flow of what you want to say and who you're talking to. And you're not trying to be someone you're not, or attract someone who you think is looking for someone else. Just go out in there and talk about what you're doing and how you would talk to a friend or your ideal client, and that's going to attract those people to you. Something that I hear a lot that I don't know that us as agents really think about, but in the business world they do. What problems do our clients have, and how can we solve them? So a lot of times, like the earlier in the year, we faced a huge housing shortage. That was a big problem. How do we solve that for our clients? How do we think outside the box? But maybe it's not even solving the problem so much as talking them through what is actually happening. And here's how I can serve you through that. Right. I have some clients right now who've been looking for a while. And as I was doing research on like what's going on, and I'm looking up all this different like NAR stats and stuff, the average home buyer right now is looking for a home for 10 weeks before they actually find a home. That's a part of my conversation now with clients, because they need to know, like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't take 10 weeks. If they find the right home, let's go for it. I don't want to encourage them to wait longer than they need to. But if it's taken a while, I don't want them to feel like it's because they're losing in this. It's normal. It's what's happening in the market. So sometimes us solving the problem isn't solving the actual problem, but just being there to help guide our clients through what's actually happening. So think through that, because I think that could be a big part of your marketing. It could be a big part of what you're posting, your conversations with clients. Maybe it's a part of your presentations, your selling and buying presentations. How can you implement those things? How can you solve problems? And what market do you serve? So this is really interesting because Courtney and I, again, we're talking about on Instagram and Facebook, we don't really get cold leads from that. We're on there a lot and we post a lot, but usually the people who we're able to help through social media have been people that we've met at some point. It might have been recently, it might have been from a long time ago, but it's a way for us to stay top of mind and stay engaged with the people that we know and want to stay connected with. On the other hand, Laura Waters, who serves a very niche market, she does a lot of downtown, a lot of flips and renos. She posts really niche, relate, like very direct, location driven content. And she gets cold leads from that. She gets people who say, hey, I saw that you checked into this coffee shop and that you went here. Can you help me buy a home with Onyx and East on this street? Like, it is that very direct. And so you kind of have to figure out who you are in that. Do you have a niche market, or are you someone who sells in a lot of different areas and you're really branding more of you and your business and how you help them with that? So know who you are, know who your market is, because you'll get asked that too. I get asked all the time, where, like, how far will you go? Like, will you go to the South Side? Or I have some people who luckily do end up messaging me, but they'll say, hey, I know you live in Fishers, but is Greenwood too far? Like, absolutely not. It's not too far, but we have to put that out there. We have to answer those questions before because I'm sure I've lost out on some people who thought that it was too far and just assumed and never contacted me because they just assumed. So that's on my radar actually right now, to post more about, hey, here is where I sell, here's what I do, and take that question off their plate. Jason Pantana, if you don't follow him, he's a great one to follow. Marketing expert who does a lot of videos on YouTube and Instagram. And he posted this the other day that says, your agent brand is your voice, your mind, your heart, and your face. Notice he didn't say it's your just listed and just sold posts on social media. It is truly how you talk. It is the things that you're focusing on. It's the way you do your business. It's the way you treat your clients. And although branding, as far as like logos and your font and your color scheme, it's important to stay consistent for awareness. Your brand truly is you. And so the more you put yourself out there, the more brand awareness you're actually going to have. And I know that's vulnerable, but it's an important point, because we're not going to get anywhere if we're posting ads all the time. We really have to put ourselves out there to make it work for us. Any questions on this? Okay. What are your marketing goals? So for the next 90 days, and then of course we're going to plan sometime soon for all of next year as a higher level overview. But for right now, is your goal branding? Is it lead generation? Do you want a bigger following? Know your goals so you can be intentional. For branding, if it is just branding, you're gonna do a lot more behind the scenes, who you are, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. If it's lead generation, you're gonna post more about, hey, this is a service that I offer. Do you have any questions, or is there a way I can help you? Or, hey, homes are selling quickly still. Do you want a free home evaluation? I'm happy to give that to you. And have call to actions where people are going to actually engage with you and ask you for something. Maybe you have a killer one page in your seller guide that nobody's seeing because you're not really going through it with your sellers. Maybe you can offer that to people who are considering selling and post that out there. Like, what's the value to them? And ask them to message you or call you, text you, whatever, to get that from you. So you're going to create more lead gen that way. If it's a bigger following, you're really going to want to focus more on engaging with people who are not currently following you. So if it's on Facebook or Instagram, you're looking up locations, you're looking up friends of friends, you're going in and commenting, and really trying to engage with people so that they follow you then too. And so your goals in the marketing really have a bigger play than I think what we give it credit for. So take some time to think through, like, if you were to consider this goal a big win at the end of the year, what does that look like? What does your big win look like? Is it more leads, or is it just having a stronger brand going into the next year? All right, let's talk through what clients are looking for based on research that's recent. Here we have a Real Trends research report. If you haven't got on Real Trends, it's a really good platform with some great data on like what's going on in the market, what buyers and sellers are looking for. So when they were asked, this was actually a 2018 study that was released in March of this year. What was important when looking for a real estate agent? The number one thing was referrals from people I trust. So what does that tell us? That tells us that in our marketing plan, we really need to reach out to more of our sphere, more of the people who are our past clients who love us and support us, and really continue staying top of mind so that they're a cheerleader for us and can refer us, because that is a huge reason why people reach out to their agent. Number two are agents with similar listings to what I was looking for. It's so interesting because I feel like it doesn't really, I don't think that that really is an indicator of a great agent. If they could have a one-off listing that's a $500,000 listing but a seller is going to look at that and think, okay, well, you must have experience in that. So I think that really indicates to me that circle dialing, if you're not doing that right now, that's part of our business plan right now. Circle dialing is huge. It is a great way to pick up quick business, calling around a recently sold home that maybe has had like, maybe they were asking for 500 and they got 510. Calling that street or calling a certain radius around that home and letting them know that home has sold. Here's what it sold for, and do they have any interest in being that realtor of resource for them? If you can do that for homes that aren't yours recently sold, but if you do, it's a part of my business plan to as soon as one of my homes sell, I'm sending the 20 homes around it a card with what it sold for and giving them my information if they've also thought about selling. So make sure it's just a part. I'm saying make sure if you want to make this a part of your plan, that it's a part of like your routine. As soon as you sell a home, use that as leverage to get more listings around there, because obviously 64% of people are saying they chose their agent because they had a listing like theirs. Also a big part of why someone is choosing an agent, they're looking at websites with ratings of average performance. I have in the next slide what websites they're looking at, so we'll talk about that. But it's really important, if you don't have profiles on these real estate sites, that should be a part of your plan for the end of the year. Like, no doubt, make sure you have a completed profile on these sites. Having a personal relationship with the agent, we already talked about that. Being a member of a realtor organization, that surprised me.
Yeah.
Does that surprise anybody else? I guess I just didn't realize how important that is for someone, but being a part of my board, being a part of the Realtor Foundation or Baggy, being involved in the community, I'm guessing is what that one's about. If anybody has any more insights on that, I was shocked by that one. Okay. And then the last one, having used the agent in the previous transaction was 41%. I feel like that could be so much higher if we kept in contact with our past clients. So making a plan around that. How are you staying in touch with them? And I think I've rethought emails recently, so don't kill me for saying emailing them, but sending them short and sweet emails with value that they'd love. Maybe it's a contractor list, maybe it's a resource that you're offering, but stay consistent on, do they really need this right now? Sending them valuable content, but then also maybe having client appreciation events or coffees every once in a while with your top people. Just make a plan to stay in touch with them, because I feel like that 41% could be a lot higher if us agents did a better job of just staying in contact. All right. So here are the websites that we were talking about. Top websites for agent information. Number one, realtor.com. Also surprised by that. I would have thought it would be Zillow. Number two, Zillow. No surprise there. Google is a huge one right now. If you don't have it already, our last call actually was about Google Business. Courtney, by the way, is killing it on Google Business. But it's a free way. Create your Google Business account, verify your location, and fill out all the things. Make sure it's a complete profile. And then ask for reviews on there, because that's where people are really going. They're searching you. If they see you in an open house or that a friend refers you to them, they're going to go on Google and search you. And they're also going to go on social media and search you. So make sure you have a profile on Google Business, along with Realtor.com, Zillow, and obviously Facebook. This is why it's definitely a personal choice whether or not you want a personal Facebook or a business Facebook page. But I do think that if someone goes and searches you on Facebook, they're really looking for your business page. A lot of times what we're posting on our personal is private, but also on your Facebook business, you have the ability to set an appointment with you, to call or email you from there, and they can see your reviews all in the same spot.
Well, she's also right in there. You could walk in.
Okay. All right, next slide. 80% of buyers say that buying a home is stressful. This was released in 2021. I thought this was interesting because I think we could all read this and be like, yep, you're right. It is super stressful. But let's think through that. How can we create that problem for them? Back to one of our first slides. Create a list of ways that you can make the process exciting, or at least alleviate some of that stress in some way.
Hey, can I just make a comment on the Google stuff real quick?
Yeah. Chris wants to talk about the Google stuff.
Hey, everyone. Real quick, if you haven't watched Robin's last one of these meetings about the Google business stuff, you really should. It was fantastic. The only thing I want to add is if you don't have a Google My Business page already set up, when they ask you to name the page, don't pick Highgarden Real Estate. Pick like Robin Brees - Highgarden Real Estate or something like that, because we had one agent that took control of our whole account. So just be careful when you're searching for a business. If you don't have one set up, it'll pop up Highgarden Real Estate. You don't want to claim that. It's kind of a nightmare. So just set up a new one. That's it. See you later.
Great comment. Also, make sure whatever you name that, it's consistent on your Facebook and your website URL. Make sure they all are consistent. Anyway, I go through all of that in that last webinar. It was recorded. It's on YouTube, and I sent that out last month. But if you need it again, I'm happy to send it to you too. Okay, so create a list of how you can create a more enjoyable experience. Of course, there's going to be things that pop up during the buying process that we can't control, but we like to think of it as like a bank. If you have enough deposits of good things, that every once in a while when something bad happens, it's a withdrawal and it's not depleting the bank. We have enough built up of good things that keep that process enjoyable. And then that way they're so much more appreciative of you too. So I think on the top of this list, just top of mind, communication is key. I've found that the more I streamline my process and communicate what's next with the help of Faith, she's been helping me a ton with this. Just letting them know what's next has helped so much, just the communication part alone. So it doesn't even have to be an expense to us. It could just be the communication. Anything to add on this? I'm sure we have a ton of great agents on here. I'm sure there's some things that you all are doing that are amazing.
Robin, I think setting expectations plays a huge part of that. And just knowing that, like, yep, you are going to have an inspection, things are going to pop up, and this is how we handle it. That's one thing that we've always found has really helped, is just making sure that we set those expectations up as they get under contract, and you help guide them as to the next steps. Like you just said, it's setting out the plan and letting them follow the plan.
I love it. And letting them know that, like you said, things are going to pop up. So it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, I mean, there's going to be some stress involved, but as long as they know that, that's awesome. All right, next slide. Okay, now we're getting into actually creating the content. So if I were to plan, and this is just one way to do it, if you Google this, there's lots of YouTube videos on this. There's lots of ways to do it. Here's kind of how I break it down into what I'm going to post. or how I'm going to market myself. So right now, like I said, I'm doing emails too. This is kind of how I'm looking at it. So create buckets of content. And not all of these are going to come into play for all of us. Like, I'm not a big motivational poster. I'm not a big review poster. Actually, I should probably post my reviews more, but I don't. I'm a lot of behind the scenes, community specific, and value added, like educational type content. Those are my top 3. So I would encourage you to pick 3, 4, 5 different buckets, and they don't even have to be on here. They could really be whatever you like to talk about or who you are. Some of you are probably hilarious, and having funny entertainment type content should be a part of your marketing. So create 3 or 4 buckets, however many you want, of content, and then alternate those so that it's not the same type of stuff over and over, but it is encompassing of your brand and the message that you want to send out. Anything to add on these? We have behind the scenes, community specific, value added, that's educational tips type videos, market insights. When I say that, I don't mean a screenshot of your MLS's data. I mean your true opinion of what's going on in the market.
Your voice, your face.
Your voice, your face. Yes. I like that you brought it back to what it okay. Home neighborhood tours are huge right now. Huge. People are loving it. If you can do a tour of a home that says, what do you get for 500,000 in Westfield, and show a pretty model, people love to see how far their money will go and what homes are out there. Same with neighborhoods. People don't drive neighborhoods like we do. We get to see a lot of things that we take for granted. So just take your phone out and drive through with your phone and post it. Personal, when I say that, it could be your kids, it could be your cute puppy, it could be that you like to go hiking. Whatever it is that you do outside of work, it's important to plug some of that in. I plug a lot of it in, I feel like, but I feel like that's how people relate to you. That's how people know who you are and if they have some commonality with you. And the more they feel like that, the more willing they're going to be to give you a call. And when it's time for them to buy or sell or to refer you to someone, because they'll feel like they know you. So that personal piece is really important. Reviews. I see a lot of agents posting huge paragraphs of reviews. I think that reviews are important, but can I encourage you one thing on this? When you post a review, post 1 or 2 really strong sentences out of that whole paragraph. Don't post the entire paragraph. Nobody's going to read it. We just think about when you see that, even if you love the person that got the review, you're still scrolling because it's so long and time consuming. It's kind of hard to read. So just 1 or 2 really strong sentences out of that review and just post that. Promotional ads. So as much as we're giving and we're showing what we're doing and all the things that we do in our business, every once in a while we need a plug. Hey, if you know of someone who wants to buy or sell, have them call me. Or if you yourself, or if you want a free home evaluation, or you want to see my buyer guide because you're thinking about buying, call me. So those ads are important too, but just make sure they're limited. Make sure it's not a majority of our content. And then the motivational piece of this, some people are really good at posting, great quotes, or maybe it's a video about them and like what they're going through, and it's a motivational type of message. That doesn't mean necessarily, but I see a lot of agents and top agents across the nation that are killing it with that. Have you seen that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark Branch is really good at that.
Oh, good point. Mark Branch. If you guys don't follow Mark Branch here in our office, he's really good at that too. He'd be one to follow for sure. He's on there a lot. Any questions on this page?
Robin, there's a question from Kelly in the chat about your thoughts on a monthly newsletter.
Hey, Kelly. If you would have asked me a couple months ago, I would have said, hell no, that is not going to work. It's too much. It's too much for the people to read. It's too much for us to do. But here's what I've recently started doing. And the reason I started is because Faith was listening to a webinar. Faith, do you remember the lady's name?
I have her actually in my email right now, Jennifer Myers.
Jennifer Myers.
Mm-hmm.
She's killing it right now with emails to her database, and her whole her whole like structure to that is she's sending weekly, not monthly, weekly emails, and the emails are just one topic. They're not a big newsletter. They're not a ton of information in one spot. They're not an apple pie recipe. They're about real estate, and they are one sentence, and they're always valuable. So there's something that people actually look forward to reading. So, and I've started doing this too. I've only done 2. My first one was I sent it out to all my database that I do. I offer a service to them called HomeBot, which we're recently doing in-house now. But that I offer that as a free service to them. And then I sent them the link where they can go on and they can find their home evaluation or know if it's time to refinance at any given time before. They don't even have to contact me. They can do it on their own free will. And then the second one, I just sent out this morning. I'm losing my train of thought of what I actually sent out. Oh, it was a contractor list. The people that I use personally on my home for contracting, flooring, painting, general contractor, landscaper, a list of the people that I use. I sent that out to my whole database. So I'm okay with emails, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever you want to do, as long as they're 1, easy to read, and 2, they have a value. Would you want to get that email? Would you subscribe to get that email? If you would not, I actually think it may be detrimental to you because you're going to get people unsubscribing from your list who would have normally stuck around if you didn't email them as much. So whatever you do, I think it's important to stay consistent and stay valuable, giving them value every single time. Jennifer Myers is one who wants to, oh yeah, thank you, Faith, for plugging her. And she has a couple good podcasts, it sounds like, on what exactly she does. Okay, all right. Here's something that I've taken part of, but not all the way with Tom Ferry. I contact 4 people a day. I should be doing a lot more, but this is something that Tom Ferry rolled out. It's the 5542 rule. That is every single day, make 5 calls or texts to people in your sphere, 5 real estate conversations to people outside of your sphere. So whether that's at an open house or calling your circle dialing, calling expired, whatever that might look like, but 5 conversations, 4 follow-up calls per day. So people you've already talked to that you were following up with them about something with real estate. And then he said 2 videos per day or week. Well, yeah, 2 videos a day. Don't worry about that. 2 videos a week or month. Like start somewhere, but have that rule. Like I probably do 2 videos a month at least. And so that's just part of habit, but like whatever you can start with and stay consistent with, and then you build on that. But the whole point is to have some type of rule or structure for yourself that you're having conversations, real estate conversations every single day. Whether that's calling or texting, it depends. That's part of your branding, right? Whatever your jam is and whatever people, how they want to hear from you. I would much rather a text from someone than a phone call, but I do think there's some validity to a phone call, to hearing their voice and having a conversation. But I would encourage you for the remainder, we only have 3 months left. Try it. Try something where you're having a certain number of real estate conversations per day and see what that does for you. Has anybody done anything like this? Oop. Melissa, do you? I know you have a lot of real estate conversations. Like, how do you structure that?
Yeah, I try and do text messages, but also a few handwritten notes. But it's even just, man, I kind of roll follow up into conversations with people outside of the sphere just because I think that's all follow up and developing business. But yeah, the 5 calls to your sphere, sometimes they're real estate related, but most of the time it's me searching on Facebook, seeing that somebody got a job promotion or they announced that they're pregnant. So usually I try and message those people as well and then send like a card that says like, congratulations.
I love that. That's so huge. Being there for our people when they have life experiences, that's really huge. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So here are some different, we talked about buckets of content. Here are different resources for our business. Sphere is going to be huge for a lot of us. For a majority of us agents, Sphere is number one. Past clients kind of fall into that because they become our Sphere almost. I feel like that's kind of a blended resource, but it's important. Agent to agent referrals, that's big right now on social media. If you're on social media a lot, social is a big part of your game plan. I would start tracking your agent to agent referrals and thinking about content that you can post to encourage it. Leads, whether they're here at High Garden or Easy Street or paid leads, definitely a resource that can fill the gaps at times and promote, especially for newer agents, promote getting that foundation and getting out there, having those conversations. Your geographic farm, something I've not really done a lot of. I should do more of geographic farming. If we have someone on here who's been strong in geographic farming, will you reach out to me? I would love to chat with you. Yeah, Melissa, you just got nominated.
Yeah. I would say have had some success in the past with it, and then trying new techniques moving forward. But man, it just takes consistency and sticking with it, because it is a long-term payout.
Yeah.
But it also
good to
like
know,
that
though,
would
right?
tie in
For
with
anybody
that
who
circle
started it.
prospecting.
Yeah. Are you circle prospecting?
Trying to, yeah. I'm trying to put some things in place to make it easier without it being like too daunting. You know, when you start like pulling up listings in multiple neighborhoods, you know, there's a lot of areas that I'm like, man, that'd be a great farm / circle prospect, like would love to take over. But it's like, you know, that's kind of, you got to have plans in place and make sure that you're consistent with it.
Yep. I think with all of this, that's such a good point that you make, that consistency is so key.
I like to take my doggies with
for
me.
agents who are starting. Someone, I think we might need to mute someone. I don't know who it is. There we go.
I got him.
I think we got it. Consistency is such a big part of all of it. If any of it, I feel like for the majority of this, with the exception of leads, although follow-up is so important with the leads, the consistency in pursuing any of these is so big, because it can just fall apart. Like it takes so long to get it going, and the second that you stop, it falls apart. So you have to keep it going. And that's why I think it's okay to like do some trial and error. What do you like to do? But as soon as you find the ones that you get excited about, go all in and keep going. Social media, if social media is a source for you, make sure you're going heavy on reels, videos, commenting, and then definitely mix in some photos, because not everybody wants to see videos. So there's a part of your audience that loves videos. I think like 80% of content right now is consumed via video, but there's a group that doesn't. They just want to read like a bullet pointed, easy message. And so make sure you're mixing in some photos with that. Google My Business page we talked about. I think even if Google is not like a source for you, I do think it's super important to go ahead and set that up, because when someone looks for you, if you don't have a page, they feel like you're not taking this seriously. I feel like it could easily be misconstrued as you're not really in it in the business. Open houses has been a big one for agents in our office. I don't know about all of you in other markets, but I know Amber Wolf, she was just at an open house on Sunday. She texted me, she got 5 buyers in 2 hours at an open house. Like people are out there, they're looking, they're interested. So open houses are a great opportunity right now. Expired listings, you know, if homes are expiring right now, there's a reason, and we can be there to help. So I would encourage you, if you're calling expired listings, look up the listing first and have a plan. Why did it expire in your mind? Just from looking at the BLC sheet, why did it expire? Is it on acreage and they didn't have aerial photography? Did it have a finished basement, but there were no pictures of the basement? Was it at the same high price for all of 180 days and no reduction in price? Like whatever that is that you can help them with, make sure you're ready to talk about that if they answer the phone when you're calling expireds. Google ads, I have not played around with Google ads, but it is a source that's working for a lot of agents. Circle dialing, we've talked about. Just sold cards. Whenever you sell a property, that's where you're sending out cards for the 20 nearest homes or whatever radius you decide on. That has been working for Mark Branch really well here in our office. and they're real tiny cards with a picture of the home that sold. And it said, I just sold your neighbor's home. And on the back, it says, I can sell yours too, with his information. I think it's so cute. And then for sale by owners, you know, I just saw a stat when I was looking at all this. Only 5% of transactions are actually, 5% of for sale by owners are actually sold without, or actually sold. Like 95% of them don't get to the closing table or ever sell. So for sale by owners, if we contact them early and often and be a resource for them, that could be a really big way to win for sale by owners when they decide to not have to mess with all the calls and the paperwork and all of that. Because a lot of times they do end up thinking down the road, man, this isn't what I thought it was. It's not as easy as I thought. And then double asterisk down here at the bottom, I wanted to remind you all that the more relationship-based your strategy is, the better. So I know we try to process and streamline, we try to make it easy on ourselves and just get postcards out there, get flyers out there. But really the real magic happens when we're getting face-to-face or having conversations and really connecting with the people that we're trying to reach. So make sure that we're keeping that top of mind as we create a strategy. All right, we only have 94 days left in 2021, which is insane. So now is a great time to just plan it out. The short run, it's a short run. So try to end it strong, create a plan that you're excited about and that you're able to follow. If you go too hard or too aggressive here in the planning stage and you fall off quickly, that's going to be, it's going to feel defeating. So plan something out that's easy and manageable, that's going to create some type of, you know, win for you. You can break it out by day or week, whatever works for you. I like to look at it in 30-day increments and then plan out my week. So as I meet with team members or agents here in the office, that's what we typically do. It's 30-day increments, and then we're planning out each week. And if you're planning out your posts, if you're getting down to that nitty gritty, if you're planning out posts or emails, try to get a lot of those planned out as much as possible. So you're eliminating obstacles along the way. Because we know that one morning we'll wake up and the day is completely free, but as we go, things come up and we're busy, and we need something that we can just pull from our camera library and post on social media. So have a lot of that ready to go, so you don't have that question every single day. That can get daunting. Any advice or anything that someone, like, are you guys doing anything that worth adding on this as far as the planning goes?
Robin, do you use a social media planner? Like, do you use like Hootsuite, or do you just use like the business suite?
I try to use Hootsuite. I'm actually, I get on there so often that I don't plan out, like I don't say on Monday I'm posting this, on Tuesday I'm doing this. I post it directly from my phone, and typically it is whatever is happening that day, just because it is so much of a habit for me. If I were someone where it wasn't a habit, Hootsuite would be my go-to though, because it is so easy to just post the picture, write out your caption, and have it all scheduled out. I would say for that, if you are having them pre-planned and posted through a program like that, make sure you're still getting on Instagram and Facebook to go back and comment when people are commenting for you. If you don't want to just, it's not where you can post it and forget it. You still have to go back in and have the conversation. If someone's commented, you want to make sure to reciprocate. Mm-hmm. Mickey Mark says, when you send these weekly, monthly email blasts to your sphere, do you use the IMS system or do you use a third-party CRM? I am using Follow Up Boss, Mickey, but there is a way that you can do it in IMS. I can get with Jeff Kern and get you some instructions on that. But I've used Follow Up Boss for a while now, so it's just where all my people are. Okay. Down here at the bottom, I put, are you interested or committed? Because I have a real estate coach, and there's times where we're talking through planning or what I'm going to do, what my objective is. And he'll say, like, are you interested or committed to this? And I think that's so true. And not just real estate in general, but Whatever you're going to do and put your time in, make sure you're committed to it and see it all the way through. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your clients, make sure that you're committed. And if you're just interested, then play with it and know that you're just interested. But if you're going to say, hey, I'm doing this, then commit to it. And then that way, that's where you're really going to see all the results come in. Robin, do you have a marketing plan template you can share? I do. I actually have 3 of them. We only have 10 minutes. So let me get to that. Here it is, actually, Heather. Thank you for the segue. There's 3 different options here. One of them is a paid version. The other 2 are free. This one is a 30-day plan through Excel. I'm going to warn you, it is intense, but it is through, I can send you the actual Excel profile, but here you can lay out, can you guys see this? I don't know if it stopped sharing that page or not.
No, we're still on the PowerPoint.
You are. Okay, let me see. Stop share and share screen. And here you go. Shoot, now it's not doing it on here. I will send it to you guys. Can you see this Word document right here?
We're kind of in limbo. It just says you're sharing your screen, but it's a black screen still. There we go. There's your Word document.
Okay. Here's another template. I will send you that Excel doc so that you can play with it. There's also instructions at the last tab on how to fill it out. But the Excel sheet, it's not letting me show you right now, but you can be super detailed. And literally every day, Melissa Couch, you're going to love this sheet because every day you can go in and tally how many conversations, what you posted, did you send an email, whatever it is. And then it auto calculates what percentage you are to the goal and if you've completed it or not by the week. So you can lay it out by the week. Here's just a Word document. It's a Word template, super easy to use. I just went in and did like a sample one where I have the 5-5-4-2 rule that we talked about, a post in a story Monday through Friday, circle dialing on Monday and Thursday, and then emailing the database on Tuesday. 2 open houses on Sunday. So you can see here I have 4 or 5 different lead sources in 1 month, and it's just laid out here. I don't have the content laid out, but you can do that on a separate like Word doc, however you want to do that. This, I don't know, how would you lay out your marketing plan if you're going to do one?
I do monthly and then break it down a week like you
Yep.
do.
I would just print out, whether it's print or a Word document calendar. The easiest, most simple way I think is just to lay it out week by week on a calendar like this, and then figure out the content on a weekly basis so you're not overwhelming yourself.
And time blocking.
Time blocking. So at the bottom here, it shows on Monday, when are you going to post that story? Okay, on Tuesday, when are you circle dialing? And for me, not just having it on this Word document, but putting it in my calendar on my phone so that it is blocked out as an appointment for me is that's when I really get it done. If it's on here, I might forget to check this in time and then, I go on with my day. So for me, it has to be right on my phone where I look all the time. Okay, and then the other one is a real fancy version. Let me get back to stop sharing. Sorry, I'm trying to find my PowerPoint now. The other one is an Etsy template. And I think it's only like 22 bucks. I'm gonna share. Let's see if this works. Can you guys see this right here?
The Zoomtopia.
Nope. Stop sharing. Share screen. I don't know why it's not working now. Sorry, this was a lot more elaborate than I thought it was going to be. Maybe this. Can you see this?
Yeah, you're good. That's Etsy.
Etsy. So anytime you need a marketing plan, some content, some templates. Etsy is a great place to go. It's loaded with designers who have really cool, very sleek looking professional templates all ready to go. This right here, it's 22 bucks. You can buy it on here. And then it has all these pages that you can fill out so you can actually plan your content. I'm trying to zoom it in for you, but it's not doing it. But it has templates where you can actually fill in your content, plan it out. So if you're a more visual person and you need it really laid out, I would recommend something like this. So I would get on Etsy and just look for marketing planner. But this one, I looked through quite a few of them. This one was the most thorough. It even has the weekly or the monthly calendar here, and has the ability to actually lay out your content along with it for different sources too. Like there's on here, like social media, website, email marketing, that like all the different sources. So that was a lot, guys. I think that's all I had. Please resend Google Zoom. Mike, I'm not sure what you mean on that. Resend Google
At
Zoom.
marketing, your last one where you went over Google business.
I'll resend that. Yep, I'll resend that. Not a problem. Kaya, I have this almost exact Etsy template. If anyone wants it, I will email it to you. Oh, thanks, Kaya. That's awesome. So if you want the marketing template, contact Kaya. What's your email, Kaya? If she doesn't hear me, I'll get it and send it out to everybody. But yeah, there's lots of different resources, lots of different ways. I think just play around with it and see like what's the easiest way for you to remember and to plan it out. But be flexible too in your plan. Like you might get down the road in like a week and you're like, posting every single day is not my jam. You know, fix it, tweak it a little bit. So be flexible with yourself on that. Any other questions? That's really all I had.
Robin, if you don't mind, actually, I use Etsy for a lot of random templates, so highly recommend if anybody's looking for something, usually you can download it into Canva and just make it your own. So I've done like seller weekly update templates and just all kinds of stuff. I think Etsy is a great little tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use it so much too, because it's they already have exactly what we're looking for and it's laid out so professionally. It would take me I don't even think I could ever make it look like that.
And they're cheap. Like sometimes those templates are $7. Like that's well worth your time.
Yeah. Yes, today's presentation, I can send out the PDF along with the recording. Thank you all so much for being on here and the conversation. It was really good. If you know of any other like topics you really want to cover or you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to cover it in the next monthly marketing roundtable. All right, guys, have a great one.